So that was just a clip of the different technologies that I had the opportunity to learn about through digital humanities and then also incorporate into my classroom this spring. Two of the technologies that were mentioned in that were Glogster and Edmodo, and that is actually what I did my action research project on for digital humanities. The problem that I chose to address with this action research project was the fact that I ran out of class time to fully be able to teach the atomic bomb like I wanted to. I wanted the students to be able to go through the pros and the cons, and because of the fact that we had to move on and a field trip planned for the next day, I didn't have enough class time to do that. So the question that my action research project is going to address is how, using technology, how I can create an activity to extend the students' learning of the atomic bomb outside of the classroom. So the answer I came up with was creating an atomic bomb Edmodo assignment in which the students had to look at a blog that I created that has facts, images, and links. And then also look at a PDF that was included on Edmodo that listed the pros and the cons of dropping the bomb. And then also to think about what we learned in class. And the students were going to look at these 3 resources and then answer the question, do the United States need to drop the bomb on Japan in order to end World War II? The students were supposed to answer this question in a thoughtfully constructed essay using at least 3 reasons to support their answer. I just want to take a quick look at the blog that I created. This is the blog, and I think, which I'm going to talk about in a second, I think blogs can be useful in the classroom, especially I noticed in my middle school classroom. I thought they were very engaging for the students, and I thought it was a visual way for the students to look at things. This was just giving an overview of certain things of the atomic bomb, as well as some facts. There are also links included in this blog on Harry S. Truman, the Manhattan Project, the dropping of the bombs, as well as Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And this was a nice way for me to kind of control the research that the students did for this essay. Instead of just sending them out and saying, Google this, I had the opportunity to choose the links that I thought were good and allow them to look at those. And then if you go further down, it just mentions some of the pros and cons. These are paraphrased, but the students also had the PDF that was on Edmodo to help them complete this assignment. So that was just taking a look at the blog that I created. Okay, the students were given 1 week to complete this assignment, and then they needed to upload it electronically onto Edmodo. So 2 of the main learning goals that I chose to look at through this assignment was whether or not the use of technology of Edmodo and Glogster increased student engagement. And then the other one was whether or not I thought it extended the students' learning on the atomic bomb. To look at engagement, out of my 45 students, 35 of them turned in the assignment. Just to show you in comparison to some of the other assignments that were done outside of class, that wasn't too low. The World War I story, the Roaring Twenties Edmodo response, which was very similar to this assignment, however, was slightly higher by 4 students increasing it. But the think and writes that I just did my presentation for on writing was done in class, and all 45 of my students did complete that. To look at extending the learning, that goal, the essays that I did receive, most of them contained valid reasons for whether or not in support of their answer and whether or not the United States needed to drop the atomic bomb. Out of the 35, 25 of the students received a B or above, and then out of that 25, 16 received an A. So out of the students that did complete the assignment, I think it was beneficial to them. So just, again, along with what I was saying, talking about my findings and reflections. I noticed that student engagement did not increase through using these technologies in the classroom, and I think that was for multiple reasons. First of all, this assignment was due the Thursday right before spring break, so I don't know if that influenced some students doing it. Also, I know it's difficult using the internet and technologies certain times and expect the students to do it at home because not all students have access to those technologies. But as was for the whole semester, the students know that they're required to either come make pre-arrangements with me, my cooperating teacher, or their parents to try to figure out something. I did come to the conclusion that I think this assignment was valuable to student learning. Again, only 35 students turned it in, but of those 35, I think the students did increase their knowledge on the atomic bomb and learned more about the pros and cons that were out there. I actually even had 4 students that changed their opinion on whether or not the atomic bomb should be dropped by looking at the resources that were provided on Edmodo. And then finally, I ultimately think that the technologies that I used enhanced this assignment. I think this is an assignment that I could have just given to my students and told them to go home and write this essay, and they brought it back to me in papered form. But I think using the technologies did enhance it. I think, like I was saying earlier with the Glogster, it includes the images, facts, and again, the links that I think are important that I can take the students to. Also, having the students submit the assignment on Edmodo, I think is nice. I had the opportunity to provide immediate feedback to a few students before the deadline, 4 of which did not write their response in essay format. They simply gave me 4 sentences, and I wrote to them saying that's not acceptable and that's not what the assignment called for. And they went back and had the opportunity to redo their assignment before the due date. So in that case, I think technologies did enhance this assignment.
Would you have, looking back on it now when you were looking at engagement and things like that, what other forms of data do you think you could have collected?
I could have personally asked the students whether or not they felt more engaged and inclined to do this project because it was on Edmodo and the Glogster involved.
And then, yeah, you did kind of mention the drop-off might have been access to technology. Does that, when you think about it now, does that bear fruit, do you think, or would there be other reasons, or does it fit when you think about the profile of your students who?
There's only one student that did not turn it in that doesn't have access to technology, and when I prompted him, I queued a few of them, not all 35 of them turned it in on time, but I did queue them and got 35. But when I queued him, that was the excuse he gave me, but he doesn't really turn in much work, so that wasn't really an excuse I was willing to take from him. And there were 2 or 3 students that typically would do more work that I was surprised that didn't turn it in, but mainly the students that didn't turn it in are along with the 6 that didn't turn in any of the other out-of-class assignments, so it's pretty common.
And the kind of 2 or 3 who didn't then, were you surprised with? Any thoughts on why then? Just out of interest?
I'm not sure. I think it might have to do with the week. Not only was it the week before spring break, but we were moving through World War II, trying to get a lot of stuff done, and so I think it might have been a workload issue. They also had the opportunity to turn it in up to a week later, and I prompted and queued them numerous times, and still they didn't do it. And I think after it got to that point, it might have just been an issue where they forgot when they would go home. It wasn't something that was on the top of their agenda list to complete.
Thank you.